welcome back to another video. So in this video we are going to learn about conditional rendering in React.js, and we will be learning various methods of conditional rendering. So let's directly jump towards the code part. So here guys, I have already created a file name class conditional render.js, and I'll be keeping all the code into different components because afterhand whenever you want to revise any of the topics, then you can just walk through different components. You don't have to find that particular code inside of one file, one major file. Yeah, so here we'll be creating a class based components, and inside of that let's first of all render something like welcome user. Okay, looks cool, and let's check it out. Yeah, so it's up and running right now. Now let's do some conditional rendering. Friends, what I basically mean by conditional rendering here is we'll be displaying conditional output. Like if the status of is logged in boolean value is false, then it will display welcome user. If it is set to true, then it will be displaying welcome to SRP pixels. Okay, so for creating a state, let's create a constructor here, and let's create a state. The values of the state will be is logged in, and initially its value will be true because no one's initially logged in. And inside of the render here we have to do simply one thing. First of all, we'll be using a simple if else loop here, and for that let's check the state like this dot state dot is logged in. If the value of this state is true, then only it will execute this if block. Otherwise, if the value of is logged in is false, then it will execute this. So if you might know that if else loop simply works like if this condition is true. So as our is logged in variable is a boolean value, so it will have only two values like true or false. So we do not have to compare it with anything like by doing is equals to, greater than equals to, or that of sort. We can just simply mention that variable, and if it's true, then it will execute this particular block. Instead of this block, we want to return something. We want to return a h1 tag, which will be saying welcome to SRP. As the value of is logged in is true, so the user is already logged in, so it will be welcome to SRP pixels. Let me copy this, yeah, and we'll be returning that here. And let's remove this. So we are returning on the conditional rendering. So initially the value of is logged in is false, so it's returning welcome user. Let's change the value of is logged in to true. Let's save it. Let's check that. Yeah, so as you can see here, it's rendering welcome to SRP pixels. Okay, so for understanding the other example, what we'll be doing here is we'll be creating a button, and when the button is clicked, it will set the value of is subscribed to true, and when clicked once again, then it will set the value of is logged into false. Okay, and we'll be displaying the output accordingly. And first of all, let me return something here, and let's return a div tag, and inside of that let's return one h1 hello. Okay, so it's cool. And let's change the value of this, let's change the name of this variable to is subscribed, and let's also insert one more state here whose name will be, let's say, label. Yeah, so we are just declaring a label here. Initially subscriber is not subscribed, so it should display him subscribed. Whenever he or she is subscribed already, the value of this is true, then it should display unsubscribed. Okay, like you guys are already subscribed to my channel, I hope you guys are subscribed to my channel, and if you like the video, do subscribe the channel for such an amazing content. So first of all, for changing the value of that, let's create a button here, and here we'll be displaying this dot state and the value of label. Okay, here we'll be displaying the label that, and also let's display that here also. This dot state or label. Okay, and on click of this button we want to do something. So for that let's declare a method whose name will be handler click. Do not forget to not mention the brackets here, those curve brackets, do not mention that. Okay, and let's create that function here which is named as handler click, and we'll be creating an arrow function so we get access directly to the this object. We do not have to bind that. If you don't know what is bind and all that, go check out my previous video. I have explained in detail all of that. So here what we are gonna be doing is we'll be setting the state here, this dot state, and inside of that we wanna first of all when the button is clicked we want to change the value of is subscribed to what. Right now you might say that change the value to true. Then what if the button is clicked again? Now the value of is subscribe is set to true. Then again it will change the value of is subscribe to true only. So it will remain true forever. So we do not want that. So we want to change the value of is subscribe to negation of the past value of is subscribe. So initially the value of is subscribe is false. Then here what we want to do here is a negation of is subscribe. But there's a catch here, guys. Here while setting the state, here you can mention the state name directly, but you are accessing the initial state here, so you cannot directly write like that. You have to mention this dot state dot is subscribed. Okay? It's just like that because here you are using the value of initial state. You are not declaring or you are not setting the state here. Here you are using the value of is subscribed from the state here. Okay, so just keep in mind that. And here let's set the value of label. So here comes the trick part, guys. Here what we'll be doing is here we'll be using a ternary operator. In React documentation it is mentioned as inline if else operator also. So what basically ternary operator means is or inline if else, here you will be mentioning a condition, then you will be writing a question mark, and here you will be writing one logic. If the value of this condition is true, then it will execute this part of the logic, and else then you have to write a colon, and after the colon you have to write one more logic that whenever the value of this condition is false, then it will execute this block of code. Okay, simple. So what if the value of first of all let's write the condition. So our condition here is we want to check that is subscribe true or false. Okay, so let's check that. Like if the state of is subscribe is true, then it will execute this. Then what if the user is already subscribed? Then what we want to display here. So here what we want to do is we want to write unsubscribe. Okay, unsubscribe. And what if the value of is subscribed false? So user is not already subscribed, so here we want to show him that subscribe button. We do not want to show him the unsubscribe button, we want to show him the subscribe button. Okay, so now let's save it. I hope it's all correct and it should be working right now. And let's fire the browser and check here. So whenever I click the button, so whenever I click the button, it's changing the value to subscribe, unsubscribe, subscribe, unsubscribe. So let's console log that is subscribe value. We'll be console logging that. I can write that correctly. Yeah, looks cool. Let's fire the console here and let's clear the console. Yeah, so as you can see here in my console, the value of his subscribe is getting printed whenever I'm clicking the button, like false true, false true, false true, false true, false true. Initially the value of in this kind of subscribe is set to false, so it's false, and then true, then false, true, false. Okay, so it's changing. So this was the basics. We also went through the basic if else conditional rendering, and we also went through this inline if else. There's one more which is you have to mention a condition here, and then you have to do an AND operator here, and then you have to mention the code you want to execute if this condition is true here. Okay, so basically how it works here is, like, if you are familiar with AND operator, and I was like this is the value of let me write this, and okay, it is that. Okay, so how it works here is sorry, let me copy this first of all. C, V. So this is how the AND operator works. Like this is the first and this is the second part of the AND, and in between there is an AND operator here, like this. So here, as you can see, the condition is our first part and the logic is our second part of the code we want to execute. So in AND operator, the final result is set to true only when both the conditions are satisfied. Okay, so here whenever our first condition will be true, then and then only the second block of code will be executed. Okay, so it simply works on that logic. So it will be a homework for you guys to create a program on with the help of this conditional rendering in React.js, and do tag me in your Instagram story if you have completed this assignment. I hope you will perform this assignment. It will be helpful for you guys, and you will also get some more knowledge. So that was all guys for the conditional rendering in React.js. I hope you have understood all the concepts, and do try to perform the assignment I have given you. And if you do post it in your Instagram or any social media handle, and do tag me, so it gives me inspiration that yeah, all of them are performing and following along.